Hi, Rabbi Ed Farber, Rabbi Emeritus at Beth Torah, Benny Rock campus. Wow, what a few weeks. Kippur comes, it ends, next day is Shabbos, and then a few days later it's already Sukkot. There's a custom, a fantastic custom. Of course, the first thing we do when Yom Kippur ends is what? We eat, we break fast. That's the obvious thing that we do. However, another beautiful custom? You're supposed to go outside to your sukkah and do something to start preparing it, right? Start putting up the walls, put something on top of the roof. Because we only have 5 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot. So let's talk about Sukkot for a few minutes, because it's really, the rabbis and the Talmud just call it Hechag, the festival. That's it, the festival. It was so beloved, so well known, that all they had to do was say the festival. And of course, we love it. It's outdoors, and particularly period of time when we were not easily going outdoors, and picnicking and eating outside and having family, friends, celebrating Sukkot. It's a wonderful, joyous holiday. There's something else, however, very serious about it in terms of the lesson. That is, everyone knows that the Sukkah is a temporary hut, right? It's what we're in the desert, right? It was temporary 40 years, a long temporary, but they knew they were going to the land of Israel, so they weren't going to put down any permanent roots in the Sinai desert. So it represents temporariness. It also represents fragility, because the roof has to be made out of things that have been cut from trees, from growth in the ground, and it can't be so thick as to be able to not see through it. You have to be able to see the stars, or you have to have more shade than sunshine, but you have to be able to see through it to know this roof is not going to protect you. Right? It'll keep the sun out a little bit, but it's not going to protect you. So we leave our solid homes and we go into this sukkah, this temporary fragile hut, to celebrate. The lesson of the hut is that life is very fragile. Life is very delicate. It's not a guaranteed world out there. Yet we go in and we celebrate. We don't go in and fearful, look around, oh my God, the wind's going to blow, the sukkah is going to come down. We have a great time. That's the lesson. We've learned the lesson of fragility so many times, too many times this year, between COVID, between the disaster in Surfside, in which that whole building turned into a collapsing sukkah, took so many innocent young lives, older people, families, a disaster. And we just commemorate 9/11. So we understand the fragility of life. But the sukkah says, yes, life is fragile. Acknowledge it. Do your best to build a safe home. Do your best to build safe buildings. Do your best to keep yourself as safe as possible. But life is fragile no matter what. And what you have to do, knowing that, you still got to go in the sukkah, invite people, enjoy, celebrate, offer thanksgiving for the harvest. In the midst of this understanding that life is delicate and fragile, we still have to find ways to celebrate and have joy. That's the lesson of Sukkot. So let's have a wonderful Sukkot. Let's gather safely in our Sukkot, families that are normally together or friends that are normally together. And let's make sure that in spite of all the difficulties we've experienced in the past year that remind us how fragile life is, that we are still going to celebrate, enjoy, offer thanksgiving, while at the same time remaining as safe as possible. Chag Sukkot Sameach, Chag Sameach. Have a wonderful, enjoyable, and freilich Sukkot. And Shabbat Shalom.